What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fire, Eric Sheets Haber for TrueDFS. We're going to be talking through this large MLB slate on Tuesday. And yeah, obviously a good night for me last night. I want to remind everybody before we get into everything, check out the packages. They are never going to be this cheap. In about 2 weeks, I think 10 days to 2 weeks, we'll be raising the prices. And I would hope you guys would take a look. I did mention earlier, you guys can, even if you've used the trial before, you could use the trial again because we did change our offering. So we're like, want people to see more what we got. There's still a lot of site work being done. So all the stuff is there. It's just it's not quite as organized as it will be in a couple weeks. But at the same time, all the information you want is there. We're here to help you if you need any help with any of that. I did want to start. I told Cheats I had a funny story that I was at the gym. You know, I went to the gym today and I was on the bench press and listened to a podcast about, you know, who's better coming out of college, you know, as a prospect, Zion or Cooper when he came out, or Cooper Flag. Like, you can't, forgetting what Zion's been through since he's been in the NBA. And of course, it led to the class that he came in with both of them, and they were talking about RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. And I finish, you know, doing my set on the bench, and I look over next to me on the bench next to me, and it's Cam Reddish.
What?
Very, very strange. Yeah, like only in LA. And I was like, what is he doing here? Like. And then I noticed that, you know, I guess he had something. They came over and he had to go talk to the people there. I'm guessing the Lakers just probably have a pass for all equinoxes in LA.
Oh, wow.
But it was like something funny because I was like, okay, I needed to confirm it, and I did. But it was just a funny thing of how small the world can be in LA sometimes. Like, you listen to a podcast about a guy, and then that's never happened to me before. But pretty funny anyway. So with that said, we'll get into today's baseball slate. I did just want to tell that funny story because I just think that's so weird. Like, I mean, anyway, what are we getting into, Sheets, today? Anything major that's changed for you since our earlier look? Anything you want to highlight before we start talking about some of my plays?
Well, first, is there any weather concerns? We always dismiss it.
Yeah. Oh no, I never. I'm always heavy on the weather. That's my first place I look every morning, and there's no. As I mentioned earlier, I just X'd out both. I'm not stacking either Minnesota or the White Sox. No way with 20-mile-an-hour winds, temperatures in the 40s blowing in from center. There's just no way I'm playing any of those stacks. I also think it makes guys like Woods Richardson a little bit interesting for tournaments. So that's the only weather piece, but I guess there's a chance that in Sacramento there could be some scattered showers, maybe like a delay or a late start, but that's pretty much all that I've got.
So it looks as though the Kansas City is showing up. Remember, I wasn't getting it too early, and you instinctively just kind of thought that it was going to look pretty good, and now it does.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I'm getting again this Washington business for some reason, and also back to San Francisco. Now I will say that it's probably a pretty spread out slate. I think, you know, as far as the hitting goes, I don't think anybody's a real standout stack tonight. So yeah, if you get a bunch of everybody, I think that's healthy tonight.
Yeah, and I know we have our different ways of looking at stacks, but it is a big slate, so I would usually lean just almost going exclusively the full stacks. But I don't think that it's like wrong. You know, there's a few, like if you wanted to play Bobby Witt and Salvador Perez as a 2-man, and then play 2 from Milwaukee and then 4 from, let's say, Chicago, I don't think that's the wrong thing to do today. I just think that you can get away with it more on slates like this. Now, somebody probably explodes and breaks the thing, but I just don't think it's as bad. I'm not going to cross off any of those 4-2-2s and things like that personally. But I certainly understand. And look, whatever works for each person, there's plenty of ways to skin a cat. And that way's worked for Sheets, and my way's, you know, hopefully going to work for me. It was not a great baseball year last year, but I think I figured out a few things and fixed a few stuff and off to a great start this year. So hopefully it can keep translating over.
And pitching wise, it's still the same as I had before. You know, Gilbert is the standout. Then Sale, Steele, and Burns. Less Michael King than I thought I was going to be getting. That is somewhat interesting. So I do like him.
Yeah, it's such a terrible match. It's pretty much the nut low matchup, you know, in baseball. You just don't have any strikeouts, and but and there's a lot of games going, but there's not like a lot of. I mean, we talked about not a lot of obvious hitting. There's really one standout obvious pitching spot, and that's really it. And even that one, as I mentioned, I still believe Detroit's a much better team than they get credit for. Now that's partly because they're pitching, not necessarily all they're hitting, but it's just nothing that makes you feel like, oh, okay, this is the play I have to go with tonight. Even like last night felt like a really just obvious we probably should just be playing this guy situation. Logan Gilbert is the closest thing to that, but nobody else is really all that close, I don't think. Justin Steele would be the next one, but you guys really want to play Chris Sale against the Dodgers? I'm sure it can work. I am not going to be doing that myself.
Okay.
I'm going to have some. I've capped his exposure at 10% on FanDuel, which means I'll probably end up with like 5%. And I've capped his exposure at like 20% on DraftKings, which means I'll probably end up with like 12% or 15%. D Pope's coming in right away asking thoughts on the Blue Jays stack. They are the Blue Jays. So there's two games that I think really stand out for me as interest in both sides. And actually there's three. The Yankees, Arizona, the Blue Jays, and Washington. I think both sides are interesting. I also like Barrios as a sleeper tournament play because I don't feel great about a lot of the SP2s. And the other one is Kansas City, Milwaukee. Those are the three games where I feel pretty heavily interested in both sides. You could make a case for Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, but those aren't the most fun stacks in the world. But yeah, I have some interest in the Blue Jays. Are you getting to any of the Blue Jays sheets? Even though, again, I'm not getting into a ton of them. I think I've got 10% Blue Jays, and most of them are mini stacks.
Not too much. I certainly have no issue with it, but I'm just can't play everybody.
Yeah.
Unless I'm getting double digits, whatever.
Yeah.
They're just not getting the same amounts I'm getting some of these others.
Well, that's something. That's not nothing. So you're still on. You're getting a lot of Washington, I'm imagining, and I imagine the Cleveland's still showing up for you as well.
No, Washington and Kansas City.
Washington City. So Cleveland, you're not getting the Saber Sim trying to push everything in like they were for me.
No.
Okay.
No.
I am not a fan of the Cleveland stack. I'm not going to have none of it. But I just don't think we need to. I don't think we need to do it. So I am not going to. I'm not gonna play much of it anyway.
What did you think of this St. Louis?
I hate it. Hate is a strong word, but I don't. This is what it was trying to get to me earlier, and I just feel like we talked about these weather advantages and disadvantages, and like why. First of all, I don't like their team in general. I just maybe I'm still holding on to my hurt from last year a little bit, but I just don't think that this offense is especially good. You've got winds that are blowing like they're across the field, but they're kind of blowing in from right, and the guys I would want would be the lefties. So it kind of makes it less appealing for the home run upside. Now, guys could of course hit opposite field home runs, but I don't want to be relying on that when the 4 out of the 5 guys on their team I'd want to play the most. So they are another team I will limit if need be. And it is cold and the weather. This is the park factors. Everybody who looks at this stuff, and I've heard them on other shows, I feel like people do a really poor job of explaining that the parks play completely different at different times of the year. Dodger Stadium, end of July, early August is a really good hitter's park, especially during the day. Now, this time of year, it's not. So everything's just very, very different depending on the time of year. And I would say St. Louis is significantly worse right now than it'll be the rest of the season. So I didn't get there myself. The ones I do, what I'm getting, I'll just go through some of my pitching stuff because I am getting, my highest owned pitcher is Logan Gilbert on DraftKings by a wide margin. Justin Steele second, followed by I am getting still some Corbin Burns, even though I limited him. I'm getting some Chris Sale, even though I limited him. But I forced in some of the Barrios, who I think earlier looked like it was going to be way lower owned. Now Sabersim's got him up to 13% ownership. That makes more sense to me. And then I'm trying to get more. I don't know what it is, but they will not let me play Simeon Woods Richardson. And it's not even that his projection's bad. I try to force in a minimum amount. It's possible that it. Honestly, I can't figure out why it's happening. They literally will not let me.
It's even worse on FanDuel. They want me to play all the Twins.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that can they get? Sure, teams can get there when we've seen it before, but the way they get there is like it takes so many multiple things to happen for each hitter. I don't want to play with the 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing against me with 40-degree temperatures in a game with a 7.5 total. It's a good matchup. I mean, if the wind was blowing the other way, the Twins would be the massive chalk of the slate, and everybody would be playing them. But I can't quite bring myself to it. And I like the Twins. I like the Twins in general. I think this is a good team. I think there's a lot of solid teams in baseball, and then there's like 3 awesome teams. Sadly, 2 of them are in the same division, which is my division.
I don't mind Seattle on FanDuel especially.
Mm-hmm. I got to some of the Seattle, not a crazy amount, but I think that's a reasonable one. I like that take. My stacks are I've got Milwaukee, Kansas City, Washington, and actually then Arizona and Seattle are my next 2 tied at 17%. So a little more spread out today. I wonder if that's going to be similar to the field because it usually it'll make a bigger stand, Saber Sim when you try and just run things without doing anything. And the only one that was giving me a big stand on was Cleveland, who I didn't really want to go to, and then Minnesota was another one that popped up for me.
Just in Detroit. I wonder how much Detroit I'm going to end up getting. That's the one that if I really go on full sim with DraftKings, I think I get a lot of Detroit.
Yeah,
and not so much Cleveland.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So it's a little different than mine. TJ's asking a question that I don't think there's ever a reason not to just it's the same answer every day. Aaron Judge is always a good play. There's no question that Judge and Ohtani are always good plays. There's no slate that's wrong. There's no matchup that's wrong for them. You just can play them every day if you want to, if you're able to, and cannot argue that they're not good plays. I did flirt with the idea of maybe playing. It is unfortunately, it's not it's not the dream matchup for Ohtani against a lefty like Sale, but I think you can. That's one thing that actually worked a little bit for me last year was, playing either 5-2-1s or 5-3s, but just making sure that my 2s and my 2-1s were Ohtani and Judge, and of course it worked pretty well because they each had multi-homer games.
With respect to the late swap, it's a nice little gap here. 8:10 start. And then there's nothing for an hour and a half. And then you get all the ownership.
And you kind of have an idea how you're doing, too, somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, then you have the Logert and Michael King and Justin Steele and Sale. Like, all 4 of those pitchers are in the late window.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the Dodgers and the Cubs and these teams you might want to play. So it and you don't really have too much of an excuse today. I mean, it's a full hour and a half in between.
Yeah.
You should find the time to run it. And again, even if something is better than nothing, so even if you have a chance just to literally just run the Saber Sim late swap without changing anything, that's better than doing nothing. And it takes a minute and a half. So I'll definitely find time to do that at least.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how Dell's asking this question because Dell's around all the time. Do we late swap as much? You have to late swap in NBA. You don't have an option. I'm telling you, you have absolutely zero chance of being a profitable player if you play every day or most days if you don't late swap. There's just no chance you have whatsoever. That's my answer to the NBA one. But we've gone through it so many times. I'm confused. Maybe he means at this moment of the year. No, this time of the year would be the time to do it the most. But yeah, you should always be late swapping in NBA. Absolutely. I'm sure you agree with that, Sheets.
Yeah, but I feel as though it's almost it's just as important in baseball, honestly. I mean, because again, I don't mean and the reason I say that is I'm not talking about just when there's late news.
Right, but in baseball you could end up with a 0 and your lineup could still be fine. In basketball, you're going to end up with guys who aren't playing.
That's true.
And you're dead.
That's true. But I don't even mean swapping for the purpose of, because the guys are out. I just mean swapping for the purpose of using the information that's already been processed.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's also more likely in baseball that you'll know what's up. You know what I mean? Like basketball is pretty smooth, right? No, that's not true. I guess that's not true. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Like, where are you more likely to know how you're doing at 9:30 in baseball or basketball?
Basketball.
Okay.
Baseball, literally, I've seen it. And by the way, I would throw football into the mix as also not knowing. You think you know where you're doing, but then a team down by 3 touchdowns scores 4 in the fourth quarter. And I always use back that example. The guy literally said he had negative points, and it was he had a giant.
Because and don't forget in baseball there's no timer.
Right.
You can go extra innings forever.
Right.
Where you don't really, it's not really the case in NBA. I guess you could in the NBA.
Yeah. And I'll just tell you, it's TJ, I think that the way that you play baseball, we've gone through this for a couple of years now. I don't think you should be looking. I like Mangum too as a player, but I really don't think like you should be trying to find all these one-off plays as the right way to play. I think that there are exceptions with guys like Judge and Ohtani. Can I get them in? Sure. Especially, or Acuna when he plays and he's running, although he's probably not going to run like he used to again. And Ohtani probably won't either like he did last year. But you really don't want to be focusing in on individual players that heavily in MLB. It's a big mistake in my opinion. Now there's a small slate or a certain advantage for a type of hitter or something, maybe every now and then, but you really shouldn't be trying to focus on individuals, especially guys like batting. I don't know where Mangum's batting today, but he batted 8th last night.
Who's that?
Yeah, that's fine, TJ.
Mangum?
Yeah,
Mangum?
Yeah. And then I would say if you're going to, you should certainly never. Where is he hitting today? I like the kid. Don't get me wrong. Where did they put him in the order? Yeah, he's batting cleanup. He's 2,500. Yeah, like he's going to be the massive. He'll be like one of the chalkiest plays in the slate.
And this is who?
Mangum for Tampa Bay. He's batting cleanup and he's 2,500 on DK.
Okay.
So that's not like certainly not a get different play, but it's totally a reasonable play. It's if you build like a cash game type of lineup, I'm going to guess he's probably in it. You don't get that many guys at 2,500 who are getting cleanup for a reasonably good offense with both power and speed. So I would imagine he's probably the best value on the slate now that he's batting cleanup. He was batting 8th yesterday. I'm getting a ton. Danny says he's getting a ton of Diamondbacks and not so much of the Yankees. This bad? No, it's not bad. I actually like the Diamondbacks. And remember, the Yankees, look, they've been crushing the ball. The Diamondbacks have the better matchup. The Diamondbacks get the better park upgrade depending on when you're hitting in Arizona. And the Diamondbacks were the best offense in baseball last season. The Yankees have been the best offense in baseball through 3 games this season. Hi, Nika. Thank you very much for the kind words. And so, Cheats, where are you at? I'm guessing you're still playing your NBA stuff this time of year still, right?
Yeah. If they're running it, I'm playing it.
I have a hard time. It's a later start tonight. You know what? Tonight is a night where maybe I do play because it's only the half hour between games and it's only 7:30 and to 8 Eastern. That's not too bad. So I might get in some NBA stuff.
Yeah.
For that reason.
You kidding me? I fired some pretty good hockey today. I got like second in the main GPP, and I won a seat to something.
Wait, what's that?
I played soccer today. I got second in the big GPP for like 3,000.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. That's cool. I was gonna ask you what there's I gotta get more in the tennis. I think I could get into the tennis.
Yeah, tennis is very it's very much like MMA as far as like lineups are concerned, because it's like one versus the other. Although like there's huge ceilings in MMA. Like MMA, you get two fighters going after each other. Like if that one of them is gonna just smash and be in the optimal. Tennis is not exactly like that because if you have two evenly matched players, you're not going to get blowouts.
Right.
So that's a little different. But
yeah,
tennis is fine. It's a little annoying because this takes forever sometimes.
Yeah, the day starts at like what? It's like it goes on for like 14 hours, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then like if there's God forbid there's a weather delay, I've seen slates take 3 days.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's kind of torture. And then what happens is and then what happens is if there was a match that was supposed to start on, let's say, today and got postponed to tomorrow, it'll be part of both slates. Like they'll run it like what slate starting tomorrow and also the one that's running today. It can be a little annoying. But what's cool about it is you know exactly what to root for.
Yeah.
Like and towards the end, like you know exactly what to sweat. As opposed to basketball, you got 75 things going at the same time.
Right.
I'm going to run actually my NBA projections now.
You get I'll take a look at that. I'm just looking right now. And at first glance, there is a shockingly little amount of value for what time of year it is.
Ooh, I like that.
Which is very unusual.
So basically, you've heard of like all the guys who are going to play today. It's pretty cool.
Well, even the ones you haven't really, I've heard of them, but like the ones that you probably haven't heard of, they're not like incredible value. Like the highest value is 6.1x. Usually, really? Pretty much you could always count on like an 8 or 9x guy for this time of year. And there still very well may be, by the way. We don't know yet. There's still a lot of Q tags out there. Actually, it's less than I would have expected, but there are there's significant ones like Cat and Giddy and stuff like that. And if Giddy's out, it's going to be just Bulls City.
No Giddy, Bulls City, huh?
But I think they kind of. I'm just going to double check the standings here. Yeah, no Giddy, Bulls City.
Let me see what I have for the NBA, and then I'm going to run stuff. As well run that live as well.
The Bulls are. They're still playing for the home court in the game, but that's going to be every day.
So it looks like NBA, DraftKings, just point per dollar. I have nobody over 6x.
Yeah. My guess is that changes, but
the closest I have is Ryan Rollins at 5.9x, and then everybody's favorite DFS player, Royce O'Neal, at 5.8x.
Because that Phoenix team is so terrible, he's actually put up some good games in these situations. He's had a little more opportunity than you'd think, and he's done pretty well with it actually.
How big is the slate tonight?
It's only 6 games. On DraftKings, I'm 7 on FanDuel. But then you got the extra couple hours to wait to swap and all that stuff.
So that's draft. Also, Jacoby Walter.
Yeah.
Looks like a value. And
be very, very careful. I'm just warning everybody. I like Walter as a player. And I mean, as I just mentioned with Toronto, though, like just be careful because they will just, they'll just lose. They'll do whatever they can. They've won 4 in a row, and I think they've done it sort of by accident. So maybe they've changed their little bit mindset. Okay, we already know we're going to be in the lottery, but take away what I said then. I mean, they just have enough healthy bodies where it could be Walter, it could be Battle, it could be Mogbo as the value. Man, I would love to play Scotty Barnes if I didn't feel like they would just snip his minutes out of the blue. There's just no reason to play in minutes.
So what I'm going to do is I'll show. I'll tell you when I have the NBA projections. Then I have to update the hockey projections. Then I'll just build some stuff for like a while. I'm live on the screen. Show people how I'm doing.
Nice. I actually might do that with NBA myself.
I have a question. Is that going off on your end that the AirPod notification?
No.
It's in my house.
I don't know. It's not mine.
I hear something going off. On FanDuel. Oh boy, another beauty. Top point per dollar play on FanDuel is Mike Conley.
Mike Conley.
And then, but you know who's going to look really good? Oh my God, no wonder it's going to be 1,000,000% also is Anthony Simons.
Anthony Simons, if he plays.
Oh, he's questionable.
Yeah, I think that the other guys are worth speculating. I would say like on DraftKings, Shaden Sharp would be the guy for me. But yeah, I like this spot for the Blazers. And if there's one thing worth spending up on, I think you might do yourself like a service and just take a shot with the Memphis Golden State game. In fact, I think if I played tonight, and I don't know if we know how many minutes he's going to play, but I think Ja is like an incredible play. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'll probably play like 20 lineups and lock in Ja.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if I'm going to play 20 lineups, right? Give yourself a chance with one take. I'm just considering it. Let's see. I've got to get my lineups in, but I like that. Ja and Curry could, Memphis plays really fast. Golden State doesn't play, plays pretty fast as well. I think this is a good spot to play the Curry and Ja. And the last time I recommended Ja, by the way, he put up 60 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was great. So there's no. Let's see if I can do my old school thing because there's. Oh no, they still have some room left. Can I get it in time? That lottery was. I was not planning on playing this tonight, but I'll take a stab.
Which lottery? Oh, basketball. Baseball?
Basketball.
Well, you got to win back-to-back lotteries. You got to go multi-sport back-to-backs.
Oh yeah. But it was the secondary lottery, although it was a bigger tournament.
Yeah,
had more people in it.
Would that tournament would that lineup have won the?
I think it probably would have won by like 30 points or something.
Oh really?
It was like a 270, man. It's like a baseball. It's like twice what you usually need to win.
Mm-hmm. I like the Sheets wins the 98.
Right.
You get 24 from each pitcher, and then like your top hitter is like 10.
Right. All right, so I'm in there in basketball. I'm going to build and see what I'm doing, but I think I'm just probably going to do something like locking Ja in or close to it.
Who do they play?
They're playing Golden State, and they're in must-win mode and et cetera. And they fired the coach who Ja loves, but
why did they fire the coach?
They fired the coach, and they're like a fourth. Well,
I don't get. What do you mean? They fired the coach?
Yeah, like just like last week, like right at the end of the season, as the 4 seed. Well, they got rid of his whole coaching staff and forced him to institute a new offense. So I'm guessing there was probably some behind-the-scenes fighting, is my guess.
That's really stupid.
I've never seen a team that was a 4 seed in that current season with less than 10 games to go, and you fire your coach. I just don't know why you would do that.
You have no idea how stupid that is. First of all, the entire reason I bet on them to win the championship is because their offense was so freaking different than everybody else's that no one's going to be able to freaking guard
it. Memphis?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a very, very different way of playing. And I guess the GM.
It is, by the way, and it's pretty innovative. It's pretty interesting.
Yep.
But
I like it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is that he likes to run more ISO for Ja, and that's why Ja loved him partly. And now it's like a whole thing. How is Ja going to feel? Is he going to get traded now at some point? I'm like, what are you trying to do if you just give up on these guys so early?
How you can't trade him?
No, it's so crazy.
Wait, what is going on over there?
I don't know. It's really crazy to me.
They're trading Luka. They're trading Ja. Okay.
The NBA has gotten like there's everybody sort of is outsmarting themselves over and over again, and it's so bizarre. Like why. There's really no need for any of this stuff.
All right, so in order, let's do these in order. Let me share my screen, and we're going to go in reverse order of what people care about. So we're going to do hockey first, and I think Adam did a thing on hockey. Now the thing about hockey today is that I'm only playing three big buy-ins. I'm playing the hey Miles. I'm playing the 444, the 222, and the shorthanded goal. I'm not playing the MME tonight, so I'm building 3 lineups. So I could consider like doing these by hand. So that would be something that I haven't done in a while. So let me show you how I would do that. Again, I'll be based on the projections, but let's just see. I wasn't prepared to do this, but I will. So this. We'll pull up the projections. And again, this is not what I usually do. I usually run my stuff through SaberSim and let them build for me, but that's usually for MMA. I've had some pretty good luck with hockey, just kind of like hand building. So we take a look at my projections, and I sort them by this metric, the Sheets value score metric, which is just basically a combination of points per dollar and upside and raw fantasy points or something. Don't want to get into how that's all derived, but nonetheless. And then literally what I try to do is see who like around here looks like they're from the same team, right? That's like Sheets correlation, right? Like who of the top rated guys might actually be in the same team. So the first thing I'd see is that this Werenski. So I have a couple of, no, not really, maybe a couple of Columbus guys. So Marchenko, Monahan, and Werenski. So that looks good. And then I look at, that really is the only thing I would see, either that or coming all the way down to Tampa. So instinctively, what I probably want to do is play those Columbus guys and fill it out with the rest of their stack. And the other thing I like to do is I like to find the cheapest goaltender that projects decently, and we're actually 7,800 is pretty good for another guy from Columbus. So we might be, getting some onslaught situation. So if I were going to build by hand here, I'd probably do something with these Columbus guys. So be Werenski, and then whatchamacallit, Monahan, Marchenko, and Boone Jenner, who's also on the first power play line. So let's see what that looks like. Let's just go into Saberson for a second. Let's go straight in. And we won't build, the full lineup, but we could we can certainly where's my, so funny. I haven't done this in so long by hand. Oh, I haven't even built anything yet. So we have to go by contests, upcoming. Where's by sport, MLB, NBA, NHL. Okay. So let's draft this energy line right here. And let's just start with these Columbus guys, as I mentioned. So we'll go Werenski. And I don't usually like to pay $7,500 for a defenseman, but c'est la vie. And let's see if we can afford all these guys. So there's Monahan, and then there was Marchenko, and then there was Boone Jenner. And then we were going to play the goalie also. So it leaves us for only $45.50 per person. So then what I'd probably try to do is just sort by point per dollar and see like what are good point per dollar plays on the slate. Maybe they're together here. Is there another Columbus guy there? Ooh, look at this. Now this is another Columbus guy, but it's the wrong line. I'd love to get another Columbus guy and really, there you go. So this Dante Favreau, he's the other Columbus guy, and it's only 3,800. So we're going to do a full onslaught of six Columbus guys, one of them being the goalie. And now I would just literally just go in and find the best point per dollar plays like available. This Anders Lee looks like someone who's going to stand out at wing, and then we basically just kind of play that way. Now again, I'm not going to obviously fill the whole lineup in, but it doesn't take a lot to say to figure out what I can do. Let me put a couple of just kind of random guys in so I can save this lineup. Let's see, Suzuki. Wow, 5,300 a man I could play. This is pretty good. So let's play, I guess, Suzuki. He looks good. Who's my best point per dollar? But just to hold my lineup. How about another guy from the Islanders? How about that? There you go. So we'll save this. And then I have to. We'll do this. It's so funny. I'm so used to using SaberSim to mass building that I literally forgot how to just build lineups normally. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then we'll do the basketball. So let's keep the same lineup in all three contests for now. We'll probably change that after a bit. But I definitely think that Columbus is. And again, because I'm playing these big buys, I'm not really caring too much about ownership.
Yeah.
All right. So that is hockey for now. It's 6:07, so I got plenty of time to fix that. But that's how I would do it by hand. But you know what? Just for fun, guys, let's see what SaberSim would give me. And let's just see if it's even close. I'm gonna bet that I'm gonna get the same stuff. So let's do this just like we would normally do. Let's build. Obviously, we don't have to build 5,000 lineups if we're only playing 3. By the way, if there's any news, Bobby, from basketball or whatever, just fire
Simon's out.
Who is?
Simons.
Oh, well, there you have it. Okay.
Portland's going to look really good.
Who is?
Portland.
And when does that game start? Is that a later one?
No, 7:30.
Oh, okay. So that's going to be the last one I'll do. I'll do this one, then I'll do baseball.
And I'm rerunning this. And then, baseball. And, well, of course, we'll rerun after basketball. I did post all my exposures. I did what I said I was going to do. And I can late swap in that window. But as of right now, I plan to have 100% jaw.
Okay, so again, I uploaded, my dummy lineups here. And then I ran the Sims. And I'm curious to see what I would get. And it would not be the aforementioned. First of all, I'd be getting 4-man stacks. Now I'd be getting Montreal, Tampa, and Vegas, but I would demand better stacks. So I would take out the 4 zeros and the 4 twos, for example. And what I'll probably do is I'll put 2 lineups in, and I'll put my big buy in. I'll make it a hand build, and then the other 2 I'll let SaberSim. Oh, but you know what? But if this is the problem. If I download this whole entry file, then it's gonna bring me back to my dummy lineup. All right, hold on a minute. Let's do this. Let's just actually take these raw lineups here.
Okay, Ben. Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'll just mention Beyond the Red Bull pointed out Delano Banton is starting, which is going to be a very, very difficult fade if you want to try and go that way. I think I might have 2 guys at 100% now.
Banton?
Yeah. Because there's already no Scoot. There's no Jeremy Grant. Obviously, Robert Williams, Simons. It's just, it should be the Banton, Shaden Sharp, Denny Abdia show. In fact, it will be. I don't even think it should be. It will be. And we're still waiting for updates on their projections. I would update it a little closer if I was the rest of you guys out there watching.
So I will update the basketball projections probably in a little bit. Okay, so that's hockey. Let's do baseball. So let's pull up DraftKings. And again, so just to show, I mean, it doesn't really matter what projections you use. The process for me is the same, but for kicks, I will use this time. I'll just use mine. Okay, and again, I'm not gonna create my own custom field. It's hard enough for SaberSim to create a field. I'm not gonna do anything like that. So let's rebuild the lineups and let's just see what we get. And again, I thought about, over the years doing stuff like backloading the late games. And one way you could do that is if you change the team totals, I think will automatically just do something with the projections. I don't know if he still does that.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of stopped doing it anyway. What do you think I'm going to get if in full sim? You think I'm going to get that Cleveland business?
I think you'll end up with Cleveland. I think you'll end up with, as on DraftKings, probably some Minnesota, and Washington.
Yeah. So again, what we're looking for, we're going to look for two separate builds. We're going to look for what it looks like just sorting by Saber score, and then we're going to look and see what it looks like after we run the sims. So I think there's probably going to be a decent difference, but maybe not tonight as much as normal, just because I think the ownership's going to be spread out really decently. But then again, like Seattle's going to be so. I mean, the picture there is going to be so popular.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Let's see. So if you rate by Saber score, let's see. Why do I have only Gilbert listed? Team stacks. Yeah, it looks like I would get
in Detroit.
30% Detroit. No, this is weird. This is shaded, so I don't know what's going on here. This is not. I don't believe this is the result of what I just did.
It may be because well, it's not showing the guys out because they just have the Dodger lineup, and I'm sure you have guys who are not playing.
No,
but that's not what it's showing.
Yeah, Washington, Detroit. That's interesting. Let's run the sims here. Let's see what's going on here.
And I'm just going through mine again, just eliminating Muncy and Freeman, obviously, and rebuilding again.
They see it as actually simming these things now.
I would just say that if you're going to plan on playing the Dodgers tonight, just beware that you're probably getting at least one pinch hitter in there. And Atlanta's Schumann's out too. Okay, so another rebuild.
Yeah, so Washington, Atlanta, Cleveland, like you mentioned, Pittsburgh, the Dodgers. That's not terrible.
That's going to show up though because of these cheap bats that are going to get pinch hit for when Sale comes out. Just FYI. When
Sale comes out,
I mean, you can only have so many lefties in the bullpen, so Muncy's not starting, for example. Freeman is out, but he's hurt. But I wouldn't rule that. I haven't heard for sure that he's like not able to play, so he would be another pinch hitter they could use if they wanted to.
Right. So again, if you wanted to go with this, you would just hit save the contest, or you could check to see what the stack exposure is. And right now, I'm getting I have all 5 bands: 5, 3, 5, 2, and 5s, and mostly Washington here, but then Atlanta and Cleveland. Yeah, this looks pretty fishy. If I were going to go with this, but hey, I've been known to go with worse. And again, if you want to do autofill, you would sort by fee. That would be my favorite way to do it. And then you could do it that way. With FanDuel, I can't believe what's his name got ruled out. Simons. Well, then again, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to change. It's going to I think they probably won't have the updates for about a half hour. Well, maybe it'll be shorter than that. Nika says she's been using Saber Score.
What'd you say?
She said she's been using Saber Score, she says.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't I wouldn't argue with you for doing that, actually. Just so hard. It's so hard to build a good sim for freaking baseball. It's just so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like tennis. It should be easy because the projections are so tight, and you don't have to. I don't know. You don't have to figure out how many 5-man stacks they're going to be. Like, for example, how many 4-man stacks. It's so hard.
Yeah. All right. I just reran my baseball stuff with the latest news, and yeah, this is the problem. It's giving me like the Dodgers is the highest owned stack, and I know why they're doing it because of the value now with these guys sitting, and I would rather not do that. Personally, I do like it's a later game. I can always switch, but I don't think I need to have them as my highest owned team tonight. It's not like Chris Sale gets like lit up all the time or anything.
No. That's what FanDuel looks like here. So FanDuel.
Royce O'Neal is out, by the way.
Oh my goodness! So two of my top 5 point per dollar plays are out.
Yep.
Okay.
Means there'll be 3 more from each team that'll probably look even better.
Yeah. So FanDuel, one thing again to caution you about with FanDuel. Now again, I'm not exactly sure about this, but it's been like this for like a long time. Be careful with SaberSim, like demanding too much correlation on FanDuel. Like if you demand like 4 4s and 4 3s or whatever, what they love to do, SaberSim,
like thousands on the table,
is leave like 2,000 on the table.
Yeah,
like, and they'll have like 4 of one. If you want 4 4s, they'll give them to you. Okay,
yeah.
but you know, you have a 4-man from one team and a 3-man from another, and instead of giving you like the Mike Trout one-off, they'll give you like, you know, the 9-hitter from the 3-man stack. You know what I mean? Like
right.
It's I'm not saying not to play that way, but just expect. Yeah. You know, that's it.
Know what you're getting into. Yeah.
Know what you're getting into. Now FanDuel again, like same thing. Like all of the Seattle is showing up, which is it's
I don't mind it.
It's fine, but I don't know if I need 60% Seattle. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I figured they would take a bigger stand on FanDuel because the correlation and everything, but also the price and the some of those I'm sure are 3-mans and whatever. Let's see real quick.
I'm gonna unshare here. Yeah, I want to. Did they update the NBA projections yet? Oh, it's not till 7:30, right? They're not going to do it for a while.
Yeah, it'll probably. I mean, they'll update them, but it'll probably be a little messy until a little closer.
And Phoenix, as you said, is going to have, because there's no. Isn't Royce O'Neal on Phoenix or no?
Yeah, so there'll be. I don't even know who it'll be yet. I'll jump over there and take a look in a minute. Still trying to figure out this baseball thing.
Wait, I didn't realize Kevin Durant's out.
Yeah, that team is done. They can't even make the playoffs with those guys.
Oh, that stinks. Yeah, that's not. This is
pretty pathetic.
Let's see Portland. In Portland, yeah, you're right. So you're going to have Banton start. Oh my God, he's already projecting a 10x.
Yeah, that seems like about right.
Yeah, that's going to be.
That's 100%er, I think.
It's going to be 100%, isn't it? And with no who else was that? Oh, just Simons, right? Scoot's out too, you said, right? That's what you were saying?
Yeah. And Jeremy Grant.
Oh my God. So who is shooting the ball? It's going to be
Sharp, Banton, and Avdia.
Banton and Avdia. I mean, Kamara's not much of a shooter.
No. Great player, though.
Yep.
Okay, beyond the rabbit hole. You know my answer to that one. He's saying Morant or Curry is the last man in. I don't think you should be having a last man in thought yet, personally. We just got news, and the projections are not going to be accurate. So I would say Ja. I think it's really close. In my one build, my first run, I had 100% Ja and 91% Curry. So I really don't know what I'm going to say. It's a great spot for both of them.
What's going on here?
In your AAU games, who was the most impressive guy you ever saw? Maybe not the best, but the most impressed you were by anybody.
Oh, Freeman is out.
Freeman and Muncy.
Freeman, Muncy are all out. Well, again, I didn't really get a chance to play against those top guys too often. I mean, like much at all. But, I mean, like it would be like a thing. You know what I mean? Like it would be like, oh my God, this guy Cole Anthony's playing. You know?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be whatever. So, I don't know if you'd heard of him. We did play him again a bunch of times. Started when he was in 4th grade. A guy played for Ohio State named Zed Key.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, we played with him since 4th grade. He's
that's wild.
Yeah, he's all right. So all these Dodgers, I'm going to redo their projections, and then I'm going to have to redo everything with the Dodgers. So you're telling me you think I'm going to get a bunch of Dodgers now?
I think you're going to get some, yeah. So there you have it. My highest owned stack right now is the Yankees against Corbin Burns. I'm trusting the torpedo.
It's rough business.
Trusting that torpedo builds.
Torpedo build. They're going to have like a T next to their names or something, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. Everybody's going. I mean, again, at the gym when I was doing my cardio part, I was looking up at every single sports channel was just talking about torpedo bats, and it's like Ellie De La Cruz now approved the torpedo, all this, and this person's ordered a new bat. Bryce Harper ordered one, and Kyle Schwarber and all these guys.
Whoever this inventor is like a freaking genius.
It also proves that as a society we're so stupid and stuck in our ways. Like, it's 150 years old, baseball, and it took this long to figure out we could rework a bat. Are you kidding? And took one guy?
Tell me, like, give me the clips first. I'm gonna have to look at this now. Well, what did he do exactly? Like, what is it?
So he took part of the bat that was more, I guess, from different parts of the bat, and it's like longer and it's thicker. The thicker part is longer.
Okay.
So it looks like a little like a torpedo.
It's like a bigger sweet spot is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. But I'm like, you're telling me nobody could have thought of this before. I mean, it's pretty crazy. This is a sport that refused analytics until recently. I don't think there's one team that was correctly projected the starting lineup today in baseball.
Really?
Every single lineup that's come in, there's been somebody else. There's been somebody out. Every time
they want to become the NBA. I think.
Yeah, they're like, you guys have to stay in NBA modes just for a little bit longer.
I think the Orlando Magic they should become a baseball team.
You know what's great though is the baseball teams have been. The Cubs are always a little bad at getting their lineups in. And I always say that people always blame the West Coast teams, but the truth is the only West Coast teams that's bad is the Angels. The other and the Giants to some extent, but mostly the West Coast teams are pretty good. They just start later, and I don't think people have figured that out. All right, let's rebuild one more time then for baseball.
Yeah, I'm afraid to look and see how much Dodgers. I'm not going to look. I'm going to try that today.
That's pretty funny.
What is kind of funny though is that with all my talk like about how it looks like another day I'm not going to be able to play the Dodgers, I'm going to end up getting jammed in all my lineups.
Right.
But here's a question. So you mentioned that that the pinch hit risk with these Dodgers for when Sale comes out.
Well, it sounds like they're going to say that what's his name is that Freeman probably won't play till Friday. Just came out, so I'm not as worried about the Freeman pinch hit, but it's Muncy's going to pinch it for sure if they bring a righty in. They're not letting lefties hit against Sale.
No, the only reason, all I was saying was that so you don't believe that type of people ask about this is Do you think pinch hit risk is not accounted for in the projections at all?
I think it's done very poorly a lot of the time. That's why you always see Austin Hayes is always like the #1 value play, and he's on everybody's thing. And I'm like, all right, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get 2 at bats,
Right.
And things like that. We just get used to it after a while. I do think that it's hard to know this early in the season about the pinch hit risk, but like usually when you work way into the season, I mean, Sheets, remember how many times though that they would try and get you to play the Twins last year, and the Twins, like, they would literally just take half their team out every time they changed pitchers. It was a totally different lineup that they would bring out.
Yeah, these guys, like
it's
Miguel
done.
Rojas and all these guys. Kiki Hernandez, you think Chris Taylor?
No, he started last night. He started last night for Freeman, hit a home run. But it could be any one of them. But then again, if it's a blowout or something, they may not even do it at all. You never know. It's possible.
Well, this is cool, because like there's gonna be so many opportunities to swap later. It's really 2 slates.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I've got like 75% Gilbert right now, and nobody else above 25% on. Hitter or pitcher. And by the way, I think Chris Sale is a much better play now than he would have normally been today.
Well, you would think, right?
Yeah, no Freeman and Muncy. And Muncy is like one of those guys who, like, even if he doesn't get a hit, he's annoying because he takes.
He'll take him for 9 pitches, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They used to say swing at the close ones if you're not sure, and with him, I think it's take the close ones if you're not sure.
They're the Rusty Staub of.
Or he'll just slap at it and just foul off a bunch. All right, so now I've got Milwaukee as my highest owned team.
Oh, sure, why not?
Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted the Milwaukee and Kansas City, and the Yankees are just behind them for me, but then Arizona, then KC. I'll bet you it takes a lot less to score tonight than it will. I don't think anybody's scoring 18 runs tonight. Maybe somebody probably score like 9 or 8, but I don't think we're going to see a huge, crazy one. Just a guess. And we've got to figure it out with the A's and Dodgers on the same slate though. And Muncy's in. We got to play the Max Muncy lineups because the A's have got the Max Muncy that's not related to Max Muncy somehow, which is amazing.
Wait, what's going on?
The A's second baseman is Max Muncy. He's a young guy.
Are you kidding me?
And the Dodgers have Max Muncy, obviously, but they're not related, which is also weird because how many other Muncies do you even know that are Max and play base? I mean, it's just the whole thing is bizarre. Scott's got a question here. Do you tend to late swap more often than not for MLB as a rule, or is it strictly situational for you? NBA makes sense to me because the later value later stuff. Why would you be worried about doing it at MLB? What would be the negative to doing it? Let me ask you that question, Scott, because I think that if I played the way that you do and the way that Sheets does and everything, I would late swap every single time I had an opportunity. I play differently a little bit. And I try to find ways of utilizing the combination of these things. But I think you should be late swapping as often as you can because you have more information. And as Sheets always says, the more information you have, the better off. I don't know. You have a better way of say it the way you say it, Sheets. I can't get it right.
The more information you have at your disposal, the more informed your decisions are. It's just like poker. I mean, there's always a benefit to playing last. I mean, you get to see what other people do before you have to act. I mean, that's a big benefit.
Yeah. And there is a reversal that could eventually happen, similar to what started happening with the FPS and the online guys. And we would joke about how under the gun is the new button.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And there's a chance that at some point that I think NBA next year, I would imagine this starts happening. I think it even happened this year, but I would bet you a lot of people will just change the projections for the later games a little bit because you have so many more advantages and you have no idea what's happening. Yeah. Muncy's not playing tonight.
Well, not playing for a while.
No, he's fine. Oh, for a while. You mean for a while tonight? Okay, I'm sorry because they announced Freeman won't play for a while. That's why I thought you meant. Sorry. Yeah, I got you.
He won't play until you need Pajes for his 4th at bat or something like that.
Yeah. The question is, when do they lose? If it's not tonight, it could be a little while. But Scott, why would you be concerned about swapping out of an otherwise fine decision you made pre-lock because you're using the sims that are going to make better decisions than you're going to be able to make for the most part? And then so would you do the same even with all lineups out? Or are those situations where you're typically no? You're trying to gather more information, and it's the result of the ownership that's out there that's going to be able to optimize it better than a human can.
All right, let me put you another way. Let's say that in your original builds you had who's playing for the Dodgers? Shohei Ohtani, right? And or let's say you want to play the pitcher for the Dodgers, Dustin May, and the reason you wanted to play him was because you thought that he was going to be 10% owned. And the reason why you thought he was going to be 10% owned is because you thought that Jose Barrios was going to be 70% owned. Okay? Just for example. And then so you're all ready to play Justin May because you think he's going to be 10% owned. And then all of a sudden the cards are flipped over and Jose Barrios is 0.5% owned. Okay? And all of the pitchers in the 8 o'clock slate are 0.5% owned. Okay, so now you know that Justin May is not going to be 10% owned. So you can then change like your entire lineup build because of that information that you had. And likewise, let's say that you were going to play, a certain guy from the Dodgers because the previous game is projected to score 3 runs, 8 runs, 4 runs, 12 runs. And let's say that like the White Sox come out and put up 14 runs or something like that. Now you have to then readjust like what your goals are, for your lineups going forward. So it's not even like if the lineups are changed and you have to choose from. It's whether your goals have changed, whether you need to go for more upside. And so that's why again you have these great tools that could take all that into consideration and continue to rebuild lineups given all that new information.
Not to mention, you decided to play the Yankees tonight, who you think are going to be like 10% owned, and they're all 1% owned. This goes the other way a little bit, and
right.
And they had 3 home runs in the first inning or whatever. Then you might want some more chalk later in the
now
game.
You want to tighten up, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they also share the same birthday, August 25th. Both Max Muncies. The whole thing is crazy. It doesn't sound like a real thing.
It sounds like some April Fool's.
No, it's a real thing. I know it's April Fool's, but it's a real thing. I thought it was pretty funny that Bill Maher posted that because he had dinner with Trump last night, and he said I'm not going to post anything about it today. Obviously, I'm going to talk about it, but nobody would believe me anyway because it's April Fool's Day.
I saw a video of a Kid Rock apparently in Trump's office. That had to be like a joke. That could possibly actually happen. So
no, of course it's real.
No,
but it's I guess those kind of suits are okay.
Yeah. All right, I want to get going because I want to come back and do this Portland thing. And when's the site meeting? What time?
7:30.
All right, I will do my best.
All right, bud.
Okay, later.
Good luck. And as I'm probably going to get out of here shortly too. I'm just finishing my FanDuel build. I'll tell you guys where I'm at once I'm done. But what you guys are thinking about this with MLB is the mistake that everybody is making, and top players are not doing this. Now you could still be profitable. It's not like NBA where you can definitely still be profitable and not late swap in MLB. But are you optimizing? Are you playing your best results? No, you're not. You're definitely not. All right, guys. With that, I'm just getting my FanDuel stuff built. We will see how the stacks go over there. I think it's going to be a heavy case. Yep, KC, Yankees, a lot of A's tonight. Maybe the A's flip the script on Chicago, Seattle, Arizona, Chicago, a lot of 4-3. So all these guys are like 15% plus than Milwaukee. So yeah, pretty. And I did have to manually go in and take some of the Cleveland out because I do not like it. Let's save these to contests, and then we will update this and make sure it did it. And then I am going to get out of here. Good luck, everybody. And I'll be in the Discord. Check out the packages. It's pretty awesome. Sheets' projections alone, like it's $20 more than SaberSim. Sheets' projections alone not only make up for this, You have all of Goldies, which are also phenomenal. And obviously, I just won the big thing last night. I won the Millionaire at the beginning of the year. These things are what helps. And I would really encourage people, if you at least try the trials. Anyway, good luck to everybody tonight. Crush it. And we appreciate